Greetings, everyone. It's me, Mark, and I have returned from a long exile. Just to get to the point, this is episode number 3 of influential albums, and this time we are going to be focusing on a very influential record for me, which is Black Sabbath's Sabbath Bloody Sabbath, right there. And before we get started, just to let you know what the heck happened, I'll make it really quick. A broken leg and a 2.5-month stay in a hospital delayed many things. It happened in August. I broke my femur bone and was in hospital till the end of October, and I've been recovering ever since then. And now that I'm kind of sort of mobile now, I figured I'd give a shot in getting back at least on to doing this right now. So so let's get on with it. So this is number 3 episode, and like I said before, just in case you missed it a few seconds earlier, we will be talking about Sabbath Bloody Sabbath from Black Sabbath. 5th studio album. It was originally recorded in December of 73. Yeah, what can I say about this record? I guess a little back story on it. They went back to Los Angeles apparently to work on this album, where they had done Volume 4, the album prior to this one, in hopes of getting the same result. I guess they were inspired during that time and found that this time not so much. As they say in the industry, they had what was called writer's block. So after a month of trying to overcome, they went back to the UK, got themselves into a castle called Clearwell Castle in the Forest of Dean. Yes, I am looking at some of my notes. There's a lot to remember. And this was in Gloucestershire, England. I know some of you might try to correct me on my pronunciation, but in any case, the 5th studio album, like I said before, and one of the reasons it's one of my really influential records is that although I love most of the Sabbath catalog, I find this record with Ozzy was their most progressive out of the ones that they did with Ozzy. This one had a lot of different sorts of keyboards, mini Moog and other sorts of stringed keyboard stuff, as well as a lot more acoustic guitar stuff in there. And I found that it was really a nice stretch for them. It wasn't just the total head banging stuff, although most of the stuff that I love on this is the really heavy stuff, which I'll get to right now. Let's put this aside here for 1 second and get on with it. So, opening track of this album is called Sabbath Bloody Sabbath, and I'm sure with most people who like Sabbath, or even if you don't like Sabbath, you probably have heard this song. It is one of the most standout riffs in metal music, and just a phenomenal song top to bottom, and was actually the song that got me reinterested in Black Sabbath. After I started playing guitar and was going through some of their albums, I found I started losing a bit of interest after a while. And I think at that point I had only purchased the first album, Paranoid, and maybe volume 4 at that point, and didn't get anything for a while. And then I bought Sabbath Bloody Sabbath and was really surprised. I was very shocked at how cool the record was and how far they had went forward writing wise. And absolutely loved it. So first song, totally awesome. The next song that they had on there is a song called National Acrobat. I'm not going to go through every song by song. Just going to get to the ones that kind of stand out for me. That one and Killing Yourself to Live are really strong, catchy songs. Very memorable riffs in it. And ironically enough, those 2 songs I just mentioned were not written by Tony Iommi, which is usually the main writer of the band. It was actually written by Geezer Butler, the bass player. I've read stories that Tony at that point had been very frustrated with being leaned on so much to write all the material for the band, and started pressuring some of the other guys to come up with the material, and Geezer came through. And I think he came through with flying colors, because those two are really, really phenomenal songs. Also, I think it's worth mentioning that Ozzy, I think, is at one of his best performances is on this album. Vocally, he's really, really good. He has a good tone. His tone of voice sounds really good, and his melodies are some of the strongest that I've heard from all the Sabbath records, to be honest. Another song that's actually really cool on here that displays not only Ozzy's great vocals, but they're sort of branching out as writers, is Sabracadabra. It has quite a bit of different feels and different things going on in there, and is quite lengthy, and actually is one of the rare times in Sabbath history where there was a session player, a guest musician on there, the one and only Rick Wakeman of Yes fame, who was actually in the studio next door to them, working on Yes's Tales from Topographic Oceans at that point. And he came in, and apparently they asked him to put some keyboards down, and he did so on that song, and I have to say it's really, really added to that song. As usual, there's a Tony Iommi solo guitar piece, this time called Fluff. Yeah, not the best titles, but I mean, in further researching it, the title actually kind of makes sense, because the song is dedicated to a DJ of their that they knew at the time, named I believe his name was Alan Freeman. Alan Fluff Freeman was his name, and he was a British DJ, and one of the rare DJs at that point who played Black Sabbath at regular intervals on the radio station, which was pretty rare back then. They weren't exactly, the most radio-friendly band. So the second side of the record had also songs like Who Are You and Spiral Architect. All really good songs. I mean, honestly, as a guitar player, I really found this record really inspiring, hence the inspirational record. And I would recommend it to all people who like this type of, I guess you would call it metal. But like I said, if you also like progressive rock or metal, you should give this record a chance too, as it has quite a bit of those elements present in it as well. Just a little side note as well, in the terms of ironicness, being a band from the UK, this marked the first record that they actually got a silver certification for, which is 60,000 albums, I believe, in the UK. The first one, I mean, in the US, I believe the first 4 records they got gold records for sales. But in their own country, this is the first one that they actually received some sort of certification. So, yeah, like I said again, Sabbath Bloody Sabbath. There's the album. Go out and grab it, give it a listen. Let's take a quick look at the back there. There's the guys in all their 70s stylings. Yeah, so that's that. That's Sabbath Bloody Sabbath, and I'm pretty sure from here on in I'll be doing these a lot more frequently. What will be next month, I don't know yet. I have 290 CDs, I think. Not all of them are obviously as inspirational or influential as these ones that I've already done, but there are quite a few that are. So what will be next, I'm not sure, but I'm sure you'll see soon enough. So take care, and I'll see you again soon. Thanks.